God. Wow. That is somehow first place. I guess the previous first also messed up the path. I am so disappointed in myself. Okay, okay. Looks like I dropped a tick somewhere, but good enough. Man, I love pissing away over an hour of my life because I can't remember shit. This is just cherry pie all over again. Though honestly, this was even worse because I've done this activation before. To be fair, I didn't spend all that long on this song the first time around. So yeah, this is the third time I've had to hit that second act upper bound. Sure would have been nice for it to have been a one and done, but it was just a combination of nerves and, again, not having spent that much time on this song the first time around, and that being at least probably 3 months ago by this point. The way I remembered it, it's funny because it's essentially the same error that I made on Cherry Pie, where the way I remembered this last act was after the second set of green to blue snakes. But in the moment, again, because of nerves and everything, I was thinking, oh, it's on the second one of those green to blue snakes. And I was still nervous about it in this run, too. I mean, I was nervous about everything. It's just impossible not to be after that second act. My first act was good, 51. I really wanted a 51, so I didn't feel like I was missing out on something else besides my time from that first stupid mistake where I had a 51. I'll have to go back and review those ticks. Maybe it was a blessing in disguise because I dropped a few on that, I just don't know. Or maybe it would have been an 83 and I dropped an extra tick on this run. But the reason this is 12 down from my previous record is because I didn't go for a tick on the last act for very obvious reasons. So yeah, really weird mechanic finding. Apparently there is a little bit more to the Xbox port than I figured, or that we had known. Aside from the unsubstantiated strumming claims, I am like 99% sure this buffered whammy mechanic, at least for hopos, does not work on Xbox. I was not able to get it to function a single time, and I made sure I was doing like identical execution as I am on here. And even then, I was delaying the activation of the orange to not even try to get early whammy, but just to make positive that I had the whammy bar held down in between strumming that preceding yellow and activating the orange hopo. It really makes me wonder, of course, where else that buffered whammy mechanic doesn't work on Xbox, because obviously it works on sequential sustains of the same fret. We can see that in songs like Killing in the Name, Collide, and Ace of Spades. And Collide's even more interesting because it doesn't even have the same exact frets. It goes from an orange to a blue-orange, which obviously you can continue holding those frets. I'm actually curious if on Collide, if you weren't holding blue while whamming the single orange sustain, if that would still activate the buffered whammy on the chord. But very interesting finding. All things considered, especially for that first run, I'm really surprised how quickly this came together. This was something that I was looking at like, man, I seriously doubt I'm ever going to be able to get this. The frame data for it is pretty ridiculous from TAS. It was a 1 frame window without buffered whammy, and having 2 whammies attached, that is, I've never even gotten close to hitting an act that insane, and with the buffered whammy, it was a 2 frame window. And even at 2 frames, pairing the execution of that first whammy on the orange hopo using that buffered whammy mechanic, that is incredibly awkward execution, and just pairing that with everything else, yeah, this is one of the hardest acts I've ever hit for sure, especially just talking frame data wise. But I'm really happy to get this. This obviously, again, even in that first run, pushed over 333k. I just wasn't able to enjoy it because of how shitty that mistake was. But now I can push that out of my mind. Again, I'll be a little happier if I review that first run and I ended up dropping more than this. And I'll end up being a little more upset if I dropped one more tick on this run, but whatever, we got this done. Let's fucking go. 333.